Let's be honest, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, quite like the first 3 weeks of a new relationship. The phone pings every 10 minutes. He's sending you songs that remind him of you. He's telling you he's never met anyone like you. It feels like a movie. It feels like destiny. But as a man, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Men are very, very good at being intense. We are wired for the hunt. And in those early days, our brains are basically a cocktail of dopamine and adrenaline. He isn't just into you, he's basically on a legal high. The problem is, many women mistake that intensity for intimacy. You think because he's texting you 24/7, he's the one. But obsession is about how you make him feel. It's a mirror. Real love, that's about how he wants you to feel. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm going to show you the 7 signs that he isn't just riding a temporary wave of obsession, but is actually building a foundation for something that won't vanish when the new car smell of the relationship wears off. Sign 1, the boring consistency. Now, I know boring is a terrible marketing word. We want fireworks, we want the notebook. But listen to me. Obsession is a roller coaster. It's a guy who is all in for 48 hours, taking you on a surprise getaway, texting you paragraphs, and then he disappears for 3 days because he got busy. That's not love. That's a man who only engages when his obsession tank needs a refill. Real love is a heartbeat. It's steady. It's predictable. If he says he's going to call you at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, he calls at 6 p.m. Not because he's obsessed, but because he respects you. In dating, we're told to avoid predictable men because they're dull. But let me tell you, when life hits the fan, when your car breaks down or you have a terrible day at work, you don't want a firework guy who's currently in a dark phase. You want the guy who is consistently there. If he's obsessed, he's addicted to the high of seeing you. If he loves you, he's committed to the reality of knowing you. Sign 2, he protects your peace, even from himself. This one is huge, and it's a major male brain giveaway. A man who is obsessed is essentially selfish. He wants his fix. If he wants to see you, he'll pressure you to come over, even if you told him you have a 6 a.m. presentation. He'll make you feel slightly guilty for needing me time because his world revolves around the validation you give him. A man who loves you, he protects your peace, even if it means he doesn't get what he wants in that moment. If you say, "Hey, I'm exhausted. I think I just need to sleep," the obsessed guy says, "Oh, come on, I'll just come over and we can relax." I won't be a distraction. He will be a distraction. The man in love says, "I get it. Put your phone on, do not disturb. I'll check in with you tomorrow morning. Sleep well." He is willing to sacrifice his desire to be near you to ensure your well-being is prioritized. We protect what we value. If he views you as a prize to be won, he'll hoard your time. If he views you as a partner, he'll guard your energy. Sign 3, active integration, not isolation. Obsession thrives in a vacuum. It's that "it's just you and me against the world" vibe. And look, it's romantic for a week. But if you've been dating for 3 months and you haven't met a single person who knew him before you did, that's a red flag. When a man is obsessed, he wants you in a dark corner of a bar where he has your undivided attention. He wants an escape. But when a man is in love, he wants to see how your life fits into his messy, uncurated reality. He wants you to meet his unimpressive friends. He wants you to meet his sister who tells embarrassing stories about him. He wants his boss to know your name. If he's keeping you in a relationship bubble, you aren't his girlfriend. You're his vacation. And eventually, everyone has to come home from vacation. Real love is about integration. He's proud to have you by his side, not just behind closed doors. He isn't worried about you seeing the real him or his real life because he's planning on you being a part of it. Sign 4, he remembers the useless details. Sign number 4 is something I call cognitive investment. You see, an obsessed man is a great listener, but he's listening to your voice, the melody, the flirting, the vibe. He's looking at you like you're a beautiful painting. A man in love, he's listening to your words. He is building a mental library of everything that makes you you. He doesn't just remember your birthday because his phone gave him a notification. He remembers that you mentioned once 3 weeks ago that you hate the sound of people chewing gum. He remembers that your 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Higgins, was a nightmare. He remembers that you take your coffee with exactly 1 sugar and a splash of oat milk. Not because he's a barista, but because he's invested. Why does this matter? because it shows he is building a mental map of your soul. Obsession is about the surface. Love is about the details. If he's gathering data to make your life easier or to make you smile when you're down, that's not a temporary crush. That's a man who is carving out a permanent space for you in his brain. Sign 5, he navigates conflict with we logic. Let's talk about the F word, fighting. In the obsession phase, everything is perfect until it isn't. The moment you have your first real disagreement, the obsessed man panics. To him, a fight is a threat to his high. He might get defensive. He might shut down. Or even worse, he might try to love bomb you with flowers and jewelry to paper over the crack without actually fixing the wall. But a man who loves you, he stays in the pocket. He realizes that a disagreement isn't a reason to leave. It's an opportunity to understand you better. He switches from me versus you to us versus the problem. He doesn't care about winning the argument, he cares about winning the relationship. If he's willing to have those uncomfortable, sweaty palm conversations about feelings and boundaries without running for the hills, you've got a keeper. He'd rather be wrong and happy than right and alone. Sign 6. Your flaws don't break the spell. Now, let's get real. Obsession is based on a fantasy. He sees you as this perfect ethereal goddess who always looks like a 10 out of 10 and never has a bad day. But eventually, the glamour wears off. You get the flu and your nose turns red. You have a stressful day at work, and you're frankly a bit of a nightmare to be around for an hour. You have those morning after vibes that involve zero makeup and messy hair. For the obsessed man, this is a disaster. It's called de-idealization. The moment the fantasy is broken, he gets the ick. He starts pulling back because he wasn't in love with you. He was in love with the idea of you. Real love, however, sees the morning breath and the anxiety and the occasional bad attitude, and it says, yeah, I'm still here, pass me the remote. A man who loves you isn't blind to your flaws. He sees them with 20/20 vision and decides they are just a small part of a package he's more than willing to sign for. Sign 7, future tense thinking. Finally, sign number 7, the shift in his timeline. Obsession is trapped in the now. It's, what are we doing tonight? How can I see you this weekend? It's short-term gratification. When a man moves into real love, his vocabulary changes. Pay attention to the we and the will. He stops saying, I want to go to that concert in 6 months, and starts saying, we should go to that concert. He asks about your career goals because he's trying to figure out how his own goals can align with them. He talks about next Christmas, or when we finally get a bigger place, like it's a foregone conclusion. He isn't just enjoying the present moment with a temporary companion. He is investing in a future with a permanent partner. If he isn't talking about a future that includes you, he's just renting your time. But if he's planning his life around your presence, that, my friends, is the real deal. Look, I get it. The obsession phase is fun. It's exciting, it's loud, but it's also exhausting. It's like a firework. Bright, flashy, and gone in seconds. Real love. Real love is like the coals of a fire. They might not be as loud or as flashy, but they're the things that actually keep you warm all night long. If you're worried that the spark isn't as blinding as it was in week 1, don't panic. If you see these 7 signs, the consistency, the protection, the integration, the details, the healthy conflict, the acceptance of your flaws, and the future planning, you aren't losing the spark. You're gaining a flame that won't go out. Don't settle for a man who is obsessed with the idea of you. Wait for the man who is in love with the reality of you. Because you deserve a love that's as steady as it is strong. I'm Elric, and if this helped you today, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe. It helps me keep bringing you the male perspective on the things that matter most. I'll see you in the next.